Hi everyone, my name is Hugo. I work in London as a consultant in a consultant company called Boldlink that I founded back in 2016. I want to talk to you guys about the project that I did for one of my clients recently. It was a greenfield project on AWS. The serverless logo, I didn't use the serverless framework, but I just like really the logo. So I'm going to start telling you guys a little bit about myself. Yeah. So I was a failed accountant that started the IT with help desk with Windows NT. I was very sad and decided to move to London and became a painter. That didn't work out too, so there was another failure. And joined Rackspace, where I work with AWS and OpenStack and Linux, and then I exit and started a own company. That's basically the story. When I started Boldlink, what we do is basically the DevOps, very custom DevOps work. It was supposed to say DevOps in the box, no. So it's very custom to what our clients need, and we work with HMRC, which is ZPG and T-Mobile customers. We are, by the way, we're also hiring, so if you guys want to reach out and know more about it, please do. Let me go here. So basically, talking a little bit more about ourselves, our real clients are actually the developers. We build everything we build for our clients ended up being used firstly for our developers. So the way I see the work that I did for this customer is actually to find out what are the requirements to run their applications and then create the processes and the infrastructure for them, be it the infrastructure what I specify as core and also application infrastructure. Let's see. Specifically, in this case, I'll be talking about ZPG, which is a company that does mobile apps and a very e-commerce oriented company for houses. So you can search on the market the houses, and they had a huge platform of data that they needed to start. And although they were already using AWS, and they called us, and we built something for them. So. Whenever I start, I don't know if this makes any reference to any of you, the Lambda and Half-Life game, which is a very old game. So I see some nods. I'm happy I'm not the only geek that knows about this. So serverless, everyone talks a lot about APIs and talks about using Lambda or functions and so on and so forth, and I totally agree. With the architect and specifically, we went a little bit more, and for us serverless, it was almost like anything that we don't have to manage the server. And this could be databases, this could be using ECS that we use massively. So anything that we can actually delegate the management and keep our operations team very nimble and very agile. So anyway, again, so this is more for me. Don't worry about so much reading it, but basically they were an existing customer, so they have very large experience with AWS. They didn't have the people to pick up this project, so that's why they brought us in. They've been using AWS since when AWS had just one zone. And they were very dependent on using EC2 instances, like everyone that started using AWS in the beginning has. The data team was given clean slate to actually do a new infrastructure, and basically this was due to a new dealership. Actually, I can read from there. There was no thinking vices, and there was an eagerness to learn, which helped, especially because it was fomented by the architect and the tech lead. And I think in the greenfield projects, so it's very important who are the people that are behind you and helping you and supporting the proposals and decisions that are being made. When we come in, developers will think about the Elastic Beanstalk. Does anyone uses Elastic Beanstalk, by the way, here? Okay, so it was a bad idea because it was just automation on top of EC2 instances, and we want to run Docker, and we don't want to be running, for instance, Docker on a single instance. We want to be able to schedule and do all of that. And there was also a drive into using 12-factor applications where we are removing any sort of state from the application itself and moving it somewhere or storing it somewhere. So again, yeah. So a little bit of what we thought we should do is, so basically, if there was something in the cloud provider that is giving us what we need, we use it. We're not going to build from scratch our EC2 instance or our database system or whatever, and we use it for our databases, our secrets manager, our ECS. ECS does have some EC2, but you can use it some for Fargate, so you completely abstract from that. They had, for us, one environment was one AWS account, and we isolated completely the prod. And one of the things that actually helped us to get a buy-in from our customer was to give full control over an AWS account to the developers, so they can actually play around with AWS and create the applications according to what is best for the application, and not being dependent on us to tell them use this, use that. They have total freedom to create their own applications. We use also, because this is a data we use a lot of serverless pipelines and triggers and ETL through things such as Glue service, Athena, and other things that come with AWS. And again, we use automation throughout with infrastructure as code and so forth. And Jenkins, which I'm not very happy about Jenkins, but it's company-wide. There was one of the battles that we couldn't win, but still we did our best to put our infrastructure as code into Jenkins as much as possible, so that there's no longer a dependency on having to maintain a server and the state of the server. We coded all the pipelines, all the jobs, and actually we are migrating now Jenkins to be more Dockerized, although it's still working in progress. So another thing was make sure everything was as a code, and everything that couldn't be infrastructure as code using Terraform. We use a little bit of Ansible, but we didn't bash anything else. So the outcomes we had was we delivered multiple environments all through infrastructure as code. So basically, we only had to change the values, the names, fix names, number of instances, type of instances, and then we just deploy changes and deploy the application infrastructure. We actually delegated the application infrastructure coding to the developers. We trained them. We help them and support them to start doing that until they are comfortable in doing it. We use even the jobs of Jenkins. We did the same. Yeah, almost finished. And for me, the thing that makes me really happy is the fact that the developers are actually using the cloud service and actually creating everything from the code to the infrastructure as code. And we are just there to help them and to make sure that they are not going into bad practices or there could be potential problems with that infrastructure moving forward. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.